up? Welcome back to my channel. Unless you're new here, then hi, my name is Miranda, and today I'm going to show you how I'm going to eat for the next 3 days, spending only $6 at the grocery store. Now, I do want to preface this video by saying that we are on a strict financial freedom budget. We have been paying off our debt over the last couple months, and one of the ways that we are cutting back is in our grocery budget. Now, this video is not meant to be Bible, it's not how you're supposed to eat, but I thought I would just showcase how I am eating for 3 days, spending $6 at the grocery store, and hopefully I can inspire you or give you some new meal ideas. Now, I don't expect everybody to eat this way. I'm not hoping that to inspire you to spend very, very little. I'm hoping just to give you some fresh new ideas. If you are someone who is in need of food, I hope you call 211 or find the resources in your area to get food. There's nothing wrong with asking for help. We have the means to eat more food. We are just choosing to be on a strict budget. And I personally find when my budget is really strict, it challenges me to be really, really creative. So that's what I'm doing today. I'm just bringing you some creative meals. Like I said, I'm eating for the next 3 days, spending only $6, and I'm going to show you what I'm having for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Now, when it comes to spending very, very little like this on meals, you're going to have less vegetables in your diet, but I also wanted to showcase some ways that I have been creative when I do these types of videos. So yes, I'm eating this way for the next couple days. If you're new here, you will find a whole playlist below of all my extreme budget grocery hauls and meal plans and all the ideas that I showcase. I typically eat a lot differently with a lot more beans and whole food, plant-based and vegetables and such, but for the next 3 days, here is what I'm having for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. I also wanted to say really, really quickly is that I decided in today's video that I was going to use any sauces, seasonings, or dressings that I had here at home, but I was going to keep them very minimal with the $6 budget that I had. I'm assuming everybody has some kind of sauce or seasoning at home. If you don't, it's okay. You can add those into your budget. But when it comes to the meals I'm making today, I am using soy sauce and mustard and some seasonings. So I did want to add that really quickly before I show you my breakfast, lunch, and dinners, just so you guys were aware. So as you saw, I just unpacked my groceries and I wanted to give you a little bit of background of what I am doing this week, or I should say for the next 3 days. So for example, my store was out of like the Winco brand brown rice and white rice that I normally buy in the 1 or 2 pound packages. So I went with instant rice. I did get a small bag of flour, some yeast, if you can kind of guess what I'm making there, 3 bananas, a large head of cabbage, which I kind of screwed up because originally I was going to eat for 3 days for $5, but the cabbage was not per head, it was per pound, which is fine. And then I did get a single can of garbanzo beans. So this all together is going to be my breakfast, lunch, and dinner for the next 3 days. Let me show you what I'm having. One of my favorite things about actually creating financial freedom for us is I am finding that my creative spirit in itself is loving how creative I can get with food. And that's one of the reasons I keep doing these types of videos, is because for me, I can never get bored if I'm always trying to be creative. I do apologize. I did not get the first few clips of me making this dough. Last night I actually prepped this ahead of time, so I will, as always, I always leave the recipes in the description box. But just so you guys know, I typically will mix it all together, leave it sit on my counter overnight, and then I pop it in the oven the next day, and it literally takes 45 minutes and you have the best, most delicious homemade bread ever. So you can use 2 loaf pans like I do for this. You just, when you preheat your oven, you throw one of the loaf pans in so it heats up really nicely. And then you put a second one on the top so that way the bread steams and it gets really delicious. Or you can use a Dutch oven, or you can get creative and figure out what you have at your house to create a lid. So you bake it for 30 minutes with the lid on, and then pop the lid off and bake it for an additional 15. And literally this bread always turns out perfect. It's never been bad ever. And so many of you tag me over on Instagram and let me know that you also love this bread. So if you don't follow me on Instagram, make sure to do so. And if you try any of my recipes, I love seeing that you guys also love what I am sharing. So it's at Miranda Running on Plants. But like I said, this bread always turns out amazing. So I also get questions in the comments if it pops out really easily. Yes, because the pan's been heated and has flour on it. It literally just pops, bam, right out of the pan. So here is what I'm doing for breakfast and lunch using this bread. If I didn't already say so, I ended up making 2 loaves of bread for 3 days total. So for breakfast, I decided to slice some up and have a banana over the top. It was really delicious. If you guys don't know, or maybe you need reminded, I do run almost every single day. And this was like the perfect post-run meal. I try to have a really carb-heavy breakfast. Well, I mean, all the time I eat carbs. I'm a high-carb, low-fat, whole food, plant-based vegan. So I always eat carbs, but so to me, this isn't scary. This isn't a meal that's like, oh my gosh, there's no protein, there's no vegetables. To me, it's hitting what I personally want for myself. Yeah, having a vegetable with it would have made it absolutely perfect, but the banana and the bread was perfect for me. And I looked forward to having this every single day, all 3 days. I think originally I got this idea from my friend Mindy over at See Mindy Mom. We did this eat for $5 for 3 days a while back, and I believe she did a roasted banana on bread, and it looked really, really delicious, and she talked about how good it was. So for lunch, I had more bread, and I decided to top it with chickpea tuna, and I thought this was just so delicious. I will show you here in a second how I made my tuna, but just keep in mind, when you are slicing homemade bread, sometimes it's a little too thick to get in the toaster, so I had to re-slice one really quick. But this is, again, something I looked forward to every single day in these 3 days. It was delicious. I personally love chickpea tuna and could eat it every day, and same with homemade bread. But I hope this gives you a really good idea to make some homemade bread and then have some really delicious sandwiches on hand for your family. You could definitely amp this up with some vegetables or some lettuce or onion or raisins or walnuts in the salad, but it was really delicious, and I hope you give it a try. Now, I could have put some shredded raw cabbage on here, but I don't know about you guys, my stomach doesn't love raw cabbage. Cooked cabbage, I'm good. But this is so good because it's warm and it's toasted. The chickpeas are so delicious. Chickpeas are one of my favorite things in the entire world. So this is just a really hearty lunch. I feel like this would be really filling because of the bread and the chickpeas, but it's absolutely delicious, and I'm gonna go enjoy this. I just wanted to say, yes, I actually am eating the foods that I am making. For some reason, that's a comment that comes up every so often. Yes, when I make these meals, this is what I'm eating. So if you do make chickpea tuna, here is an idea, is to make some homemade bread to put it on, and it'll be so good. You'll absolutely love it. You could take with you on the go if you are working away from home. So just a quick idea, but you could also amp it up and add some lettuce or some veggies to this, but this is just how I'm having it for the next few days. Really quick, I'm gonna show you how I made chickpea tuna. I drained my chickpeas, but I did not rinse them. I keep a little bit of the aquafaba in it to make it really creamy, but just so you guys know, I do save that and then I freeze it and I use it for other recipes. And then to that, I added mustard. I only had 1 mustard in my fridge, which was kind of crazy because usually I keep quite a few on hand, but this was a sweet and hot one. I talk about this all the time on my channel. You can get it at Walmart, you can get it at Winco, you can get it at Kroger. It's delicious. If you don't like hot, then you could use a Dijon mustard or a regular mustard, whatever you want. And then I just add a splash of lemon juice and then I whip it up. That's it. Actually, take that back. I did also add a little bit of Trader Joe's vegan chickenless seasoning because that's also really, really good in this. But you can add whatever you like. If you want to add just salt and pepper, but definitely keep a little bit of that chickpea juice, the aquafaba, in there, so that way you get a nice creamy chickpea salad. And like I said, I just whip it up and you can make it as chunky or as creamy as you'd like, but this is absolutely delicious. Once you make it, it can keep in your fridge for up to 7 days. The dinner idea was actually inspired from a couple of comments that I got here on YouTube. People asking if I would do an egg roll in a bowl recipe, plus other people in some of my other extreme grocery haul had ideas that said, hey, let's use cabbage. And so I thought, you know what? Okay, I'll use cabbage. Now, it was my mistake. I thought the cabbages were 58 cents for the head, but it was 58 cents a pound. So it actually ended up being kind of expensive. And once I got to the checkout, I didn't feel like going back, but that's my bad. I should have actually read the sign. But overall, I thought this was a really good meal. Plus, it added a lot of volume. I know a lot of people don't love cooked cabbage. I personally do. I love sauerkraut. I love cooked cabbage, all of the sorts. So all I did is put it into a skillet with some water. And like I said in the beginning, I chose to use my own seasonings. So you don't have to do that. Obviously, I just assume people have seasonings at home. So I had this vegan chickenless seasoned salt from Trader Joe's, which is like a turmeric, garlic, onion blend. It's really good on everything, I feel like. But I added that and some soy sauce to my pot, and that is how I chose to cook down my cabbage. Now, I only did half of the cabbage this day, and I did half the other night. I was going to make it all at once, but then I thought, you know, I have the ability to make dinner tomorrow night as well, so I might as well just make it fresh and then save whatever's left over for the third night of dinners. I did go ahead and make all of my rice, though. It has been probably at least 10 years since I've made instant rice. I think I've only made it once, and I think it was like in my very first apartment, so probably over 10 years, probably like 13 years. My very first apartment that had like this little galley kitchen. It was so tiny, and I remember like being so proud of myself because I made rice, but then I found out it was instant rice, so it wasn't even like I made rice. But I decided to go ahead and make all of that, and it made 6 total cups, so I had 2 cups of rice per meal. When it came to rice. And this was a really good meal. If you're not new here, you already know I am very simple. I like simple things. If I have a veggie and a starch, I'm good. And this was just something really simple, and it was really flavorful. Like I said, you can use any seasonings you'd like, totally up to you. If you haven't had instant rice in a while, try it. I mean, it's not horrible. It's instant rice. Brown rice is chewier than like brown rice that you would get, obviously, because it's par cooked, but it's not bad. It's actually really delicious. And like I said, I'm simple, I'm not picky, so I actually really enjoyed it. I didn't even clean my pot in between the rice and the cabbage, in case you're wondering. But this was a really big bowl. Like I said, I had about 2 cups of cabbage cooked down and about 2 cups of brown rice, and it was super satisfying. It was super delicious. And overall, I feel like the last 3 days were really delicious overall with what I chose to eat for such a small budget and simple meals. Thank you so much for watching today's video. I hope you really enjoyed it and you took home some good meal ideas that you can use in your kitchen as well. All the recipes are linked below, so if you have any questions, leave me a comment. Let me know what your favorite meal was. Let me know what you're gonna try. If you have not become a bread maker in 2020, what are you waiting for? It's literally the easiest, most inexpensive thing ever. And like I keep saying, if you are on a financial freedom journey like we are, the easiest thing that you can budget for is your groceries. That's why I keep sharing these extreme grocery budget hauls and meal ideas, is because that's the one thing in your household that you can control. You can control how much you eat and how much you spend on groceries. So keep that in mind. I have another really fun extreme grocery budget haul coming next Saturday. So I'm really excited. Like I said, I have a whole playlist down below. Make sure you check it out, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.